The New Public is an exhibition about public space, about res publica, about the public debate, the political debate, but also an exhibition about the new public in the sense of a new audience. How are people getting along with art? How are people receiving art? We have a lot of people these days who are, instead of producing images themselves all day long, we have our iPhones, we have our other gadgets, we take our photographs, we make something nicer out of them, we are creative with them, and we put them on the virtual platforms like Facebook. So the visitors of the museums are really changing. And on the other hand, we have a changing society in which the public debate is not as it used to be anymore. We have a liberal society in which it seems that firms, companies, corporate companies have gained power, and that political structures have been lost some way or another. We have the loss of ideologies like communism, for instance. We see that in a piece by Rosella Biscotti and Kevin van Braak, who are showing us old Soviet library with Soviet pamphlets out of the Baltic space.
The library is basically an installation that comprises a metal cage with inside suspended books. And these books, basically they come from Kevin collection when we were together in a residency in CSC in Central Contemporary Art in Vilnius. And Kevin was starting working for his project of the Baltic Triennial in 2009. And basically we discovered that there was the University Library of Vilnius that was throwing away, putting in the street all series of books. There were many belonging to the Soviet past. So these are part of the books that we collected it, and then we did a selection that basically it goes from philosophy, politics, economics, law, and you can see they are catalogued with it's a kind of really simple archiving with a number, and then we had translated all the title for a non-Russian speaker on the posters that are on the back, just on the wall. What is interesting is, of course, it's a story that has been put away, but it's not only put away because it's, of course, propaganda. You can read from the title that it belongs to a kind of Soviet era, but also because basically in Vilnius, the majority of the people start to not knowing also the language. So almost nobody of the new generation speaks Russian. So the university basically is updating his library. We decided to have this shape, to put it in a cage. In a way, it kind of reminds this idea of the intellectual be framed. So it's also it reminds the idea of the regime and all this publishing that has been done in these various human disciplines that still is kind of contained, so it's never really free.
These works are from 2012, this year. So these 5 drawings I made this year, and they are made large-scale drawings. They are made on paper. I put all kinds of photographs of our queen together and put them in one drawing. The idea is that she, the queen, and her whole family were mourning because the son of the queen got struck into a snow accident. So he more or less died this year. And that's why the queen, this is actually the other son, Willem Alexander. And here you see the queen, Beatrix, together with the wife of the son who died. They are together in front of the hospital. That's it.
Or we have a piece from Valentin Caron, who is dealing with religion, which is also a topic in the South Tyrolean society. Caron is an artist from the Swiss mountain area of Valais, in which the same kind of topics are always like actual topics like religion, topics like two different languages which rule the country. These kinds of conflicts are also present in the work. A big sculpture which looks like a cross is also very present here in the new public. We have created the exhibition like almost in a public space, like a kind of piazza, like a public square in which people could debate. We have those figures here, those sculptures by Christian Jankowski, who look like sculptures who are playing figures, who are playing public figures in public space. They are bronze castings of those living sculptures. So we create a room in which ideologies, in which also personal questions, in which also the promiscuity of the private and the public can be debated in a way in which I think the public museum should also give space to.
The inspiration to these living sculptures came during a visit I did in Barcelona for an exhibition I had back then a few years ago. And in Barcelona I was just amazed by seeing so many performance artists acting in front of the tourists on the main shopping street on the Rambla in Barcelona. There were, I would say, a few dozens of them, so I thought I should do something with them. First I wasn't sure if I shoot a video with all of these sculptures together, but then by making some interviews with them and looking exactly how much they mimic to look like bronze sculptures, I thought, why not just transfer them in the material they are looking like? So I asked them to come with me to a foundry, and I make complete copies of their costumes and them in different poses. And after those sculptures were done, I placed them back onto the same spot where they normally stood in this shopping district there. And of course it was quite confusing for some tourists to see them not moving even after standing there for minutes and even throwing money into the money collector of the bronze sculptures. For me a very interesting moment to see them in these different circumstances, like on the streets in Barcelona, but also in galleries or museums, but also sometimes in public spaces like the Central Park. And I realized that these figures that are quite ambiguous between, on one hand, of course, representing a political figure or a figure out of art history or just some classical. I saw that they always have these different aspects. On the one side representing Che, a political figure, but on the other side they also represent nothing else but an artist, a street artist that is representing Che. So it's a kind of meta sculpture on a sculpture. And I think this is one thing that I find fascinating, and that's something that also makes them, for me, interesting from location to location. Seeing wherever they stand, they kind of bring a new dialogue into the space.